I'm with a book that says it's a national bestseller. How's that for influence? It does say national bestseller, see? Howdy, y'all. Robert from Texas here. The book I'm with today is Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert B. Cialdini. Not Cialdini, not Cialdini. Cialdini. I had read one of his books earlier, and I think I butchered his last name, but it's Cialdini. And his book is a lot of fun. I enjoy these kinds of books. Again, as always, I love learning about what goes on in our brains and what it is that makes us human. Why do we do what we do? So this is kind of that type of book. Even though this book is found in the business and economics section because it's good for marketers, you still get an insight to what it is that we are as human beings, and just it's craziness that goes on in our heads. It's just weird that we are the way we are and what we do. So it's a lot of fun. And what the book is saying is that out of like the thousands of ways that we encounter persuasion, or that we feel like we're being influenced by somebody else or a corporation or something, out of all these different ways, they're going to fall into one of 6 categories. And it's reciprocity, consistency, social proof, liking, authority, scarcity. That's 6, right? Okay. And each chapter in the book is one of those categories. Like, for instance, you learn about reciprocity, you're going to see real live world examples and also these like research studies that they've done regarding that particular topic. So that's kind of cool. So each topic has its own chapter, and you get like real life stuff from a non-study, and then you get a study regarding that topic. So it's kind of cool. You see stuff that's clinical, like they actually were looking to see an answer, and then stuff that you learned about like from history, like what was going on, why did that happen, what was the influence there. There's a lot of stuff in here about Jim Jones. There was a Hare Krishna stories. There's and others, some kind of sad stuff in here too. It's just weird that we are the way we are. But you read the book and you find out about that stuff. It's just kind of weird. There's when it talks about each chapter, at the end of each chapter, there's a little how to say no section. And it's a way for you to be aware when we're being influenced, and also what to do when we're being influenced. And some of it you can't really get your way out of it because it's an automatic human response, but it gives you an insight as to how to be prepared for it, or how to look after it. And for example, let me go, like when you talk about reciprocity, one of the chapters in the book, what I remember, the Hare Krishna story, was that what they did, do you guys remember Hare Krishnas? It was a weird, for me, it was as a kid, it was a really weird religious group, only because everybody was wearing pink and they're all wearing flowing robes, and I think all the men were bald. And back then, being bald was like a weird stigma. Why would anybody shave their head bald? But anyways, that's just, I say weird, but I don't mean that to be mean. I remember being a kid, and it was odd to see them, that's for sure. And the Hare Krishnas, what they had done was they needed to get funds for their organization. They were looking for money. So what they were doing was they were giving people flowers. And even if you didn't want a flower, they would just kind of automatically put it on your chest or hand it to you, and you would be stuck with this gift. And then they would ask you for donations to help out the organization. And the law of reciprocity, which is basically you having a feeling of obligation, would make you want to give money to help them out. And so we learn that's just one tactic, and there's lots of different tactics in the book, right? But we learn that that's what reciprocity is, that weird feeling of obligation that, hey, they did something for me, I got to pay them back by doing something for them. And again, we learn different ways that people, organizations do stuff in regards to reciprocity, and what we can do to be aware of this type of thing. How do we say no? Well, if it's like a corporation or organization and they give us a gift, just realize that it's not really a gift, more of a sales device, a sales tactic. And if you can get your head wrapped around that weird feeling of obligation kind of goes out the way, because it's not really a gift towards me. I know what they're doing. They're just trying to get funds from me. So that's just one example. Like in regards to commitment and consistency, there was one study that they had done regarding people at the beach. There was this one person, they laid out on the beach on the sand, they had the towel, and they were listening to the music on the portable radio. And they made sure that there was somebody next to them. After a little while, this person would get up, but leave the radio on the towel. Not say anything to anybody around. Then all of a sudden, a thief would come by, a researcher, a thief, would come by to take the radio. And out of 20 times they did this study, only 4 people, 4 out of 20, said something to that person taking the radio, say, hey, that's not yours or whatever. It doesn't go to specific what they said, but someone did try to stop them. Only 4 times out of 20. Now, they did the study again, same scenario. Someone was laying down on the beach playing the radio, laying down next to somebody else, also enjoying the beach. But when this person got up to walk away, they told the person next to them, hey, will you watch my stuff? Will you watch my radio? So the person would walk away, and then comes the thief, the researcher, to take the radio, and this time, 19 out of 20 people went out of the way to stop that thief, that researcher, from taking the radio. They said something. Now that was because the person, the subject, was being consistent with their commitment. They said that they would guard the other person's stuff. That was a commitment. So now they're going to be consistent with that commitment. So we learn about things that we do without really realizing it. Someone asked us to do something, so yeah, now I got to be consistent with that commitment. And again, there's a lot of different examples in the book, but that was just one of them. One topic also that I thought was kind of fun was there was a survey done on people asking them if, just predict the future. If someone from the American Cancer Society came up to you and asked you, would you be willing to donate your time to help us out, collecting funds for the American Cancer Society? Would you? It's if statement, There's no event going on. There was just if someone called you. So these people being surveyed, they didn't want to seem uncharitable. They've got a kind heart. They do want to help. So if someone was to call them, yeah, sure. They would help out. I would help out, right? If someone was to call me. Well, a few days later, go figure, American Cancer Society called up those individuals and asked them, hey, we're having an event. Would you be willing to donate 3 hours of your time to help collect funds? So people were being consistent with their commitment. There was a 700% increase in volunteerism for that particular event. 700%. So these people were just being consistent with their commitment. They said that yes, they would. Here comes the opportunity. They got to be consistent with their commitment. And we fall into that trap because consistency, as humans, that's a desirable trait. We look for consistency. Someone who's inconsistent or events that are inconsistent, doesn't give us a happy feeling. Doesn't make us, it's undesirable, really. So that falls into play, and that's what we learn about that. And how do you say no to something like that? Some kind of a consistency problem? It's just being aware. It's kind of like a weird gut feeling when you know that you're doing something that you don't want to do. So you got to catch yourself early. Be honest with yourself and really say, hey, I don't think I want to do this. Even though you've made a commitment, but you got to be aware. Get that weird gut feeling. If someone was to ask you, would you really honestly do what you want to say you're going to do? And that's just one way. And again, guys, each chapter has lots of different examples, lots of different lab studies. And it's cool too because in the very end of the book, there's also a note section and bibliography section. So if you want to delve in deeper into each of these studies, into each chapter to learn about the topics, they're right there for you. And that's always fun. I don't go into any particular deep research study on anything, but it is kind of cool sometimes to go on the internet to learn a little bit more about the particular study. So that's kind of cool. Guys, this is a fun book, Influence by Robert B. Cialdini. And I really hope you guys enjoy the book. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Was that influencing you enough? I don't know. All right, you guys. Hope you're all having a good day, and we'll chat later. Bye for now. I remember being in 5th grade, being influenced to give up my lunch money. I'm not sure exactly what tactic that was, reciprocity, scarcity, or authority. I'm not sure, but I got influenced to give my money. I did.